Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. And you may think this is a bullshit video, but it's the quarterback zombie apocalypse in Denver. And it's the Denver Broncos do stand a very good chance that this will happen. And let me explain. Joe Flacco has, as I pointed out when the Denver Broncos announced that they were going to bring him in, I said at that time that, Joe Flacco hasn't been healthy since 2014. So you better get ready at some point that guy going down. It's probably more of a matter of when more than if. And that's going to be interesting too. If the team is still trying to get itself figured out, they haven't been doing so good. It may take a while, for this thing to kind of gel, and by that time, the results aren't stellar and he goes out, you're going to be, he's going to get blamed. It's going to be all his fault. He did, it's great. And then the clamoring will begin. There'll be the clamoring for Locke. Locke in no way is ready to take on the NFL. When it came to tough opponents in college, he would melt. So if he's floundering around and melting, then what happens? What happens when it really becomes disastrous? And all of this is due to nobody, listening to reason, what I said, and that was to keep Case Keenum, because you already had him under contract. Okay, you're not going to be keeping him forever. You don't bring in an injury-prone quarterback, okay? And quite frankly, I'm not really down on Locke. Locke, if he has the time and he gets good coaching, maybe he'd be good. But if he gets thrown into a situation, forced into a situation before it's time, I think that guy is going to be hurt. The confidence, any kind of confidence is going to go out the window in this quarterback zombie apocalypse scenario. So here you have Joe Flacco out. He's got back and hip problems and everything else, very geriatric. And then you bring in this kid who's definitely not ready, and the meltdown happens, the apocalypse. Well, everybody's going to say, well, we're just going to keep panicking and, grabbing quarterbacks. That'll be great, because then we can go into the 2020 and get another, as they say, get shit and throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. Like I said, you can always move up to get a quarterback, but this is something I want to say too about this whole quarterback thing. People have the cart in front of the horse when it comes to understanding the quarterback position. If you look through history from Bart Starr, you go all the way to Tom Brady. The quarterbacks that led dynasties have all one thing in common. They could be all different types of quarterbacks, but they have one thing in common. They have a coach and a coaching staff that's legendary as well. There's no exception to that. If you go back and you look, Bart Starr with Lombardi, and then Tom Brady with Belichick and his coaching staff, they all seem to have that in place. And that's why I was saying the keep Case Keenum wasn't because I love Case Keenum. It was that if here you have a offensive coordinator who's never run an offense before. So that's another factor in this too. You have Flacco out. Okay, they haven't even got their offensive scheme down yet. Personally, I would have preferred to bring in Scangarello after he's made his mistakes and learned from him on a different team. like Belichick did in Cleveland. But I'll give Belichick this. I mean, he did get the most out of Brian Sipe and Bernie Kosar. I mean, even those two guys were, better than some of these first-round draft quarterbacks that are put in crappy situations. So, I'm giving you the unthinkable. And, you don't want to become the Cleveland Browns and, we're going to just win one game and, bring in quarterbacks and go through quarterbacks like shoes, or socks or whatever. So yes, the Denver Broncos quarterback zombie apocalypse. That's where Mr. Injury-prone Flacco goes out, deer in the headlights comes in, and we have a complete meltdown.